Welcome all to today's class. Today we are going to learn about money market. So before going into the topic, hope you would have watched the last two videos which talked about capital market. If you haven't, please watch it. That will help you to learn more. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe my channel. So now let's go into the topic, money market. So what is money market? Money market is actually a segment of financial market. It actually deals with short-term funds. So it's a financial instrument having maturities less than 1 year. So it deals with those that are close to money or which can be easily converted into money. So according to Crowther, he defines money market. So how he is defining? He is saying that money market is the name given to the institutions and the things which are dealing with it. And what he says that deals in the various grades of near money. He talks or he makes it very clear that which can be easily converted into money. So in very short, to keep it in mind, money market is a market that deals with financial instruments that maturities within a year. As we have seen, what is money market? Now let us learn the characteristics of money market. The first is short-term funds. So money market always deals with short-term or short-term funds or financial assets which are called near money. Second is maturity period. When you speak about maturity period, the financial assets that matures within a year, that is less than 1 year. Third is conversion of cash. So here it is very important that these financial assets is to be converted into cash very easily, that is without loss and with minimum transaction cost. Fourth is no formal place. What does it mean, no formal place? When we talk about capital market, in capital market we have stock exchanges, we have a formal place. But in money market, we don't have such formal place. Normally transactions are done through phone, that is oral communication. And fifth is sub-markets. Actually, money market is not a homogeneous market. It consists of different markets that are dealing with financial assets. So for example, we can say call money market, acceptance market, bill market, etc. So there are different types of markets which come under money market. Next is role of institutions. Actually, the money market, the components of money markets are central bank, commercial banks, non-banking financial institutions, discount house, and acceptance house. But when we see the components, commercial banks play a very dominant role. Next is highly organized banking system. So as I told, the commercial banks, they play a very dominant role. They are the nerve of the money market. And they play a very vital role in linking the central bank and the various segments of money market. And they are the principal suppliers, that is the commercial banks are the principal suppliers of short-term funds. That's why we say highly organized banking system. Next character is existence of secondary market. For money market, there should be a secondary market for the short-term funds. That is active secondary market. Next is demand and supply of funds. When we talk about demand and supply of funds, we should have a large supply of or a large demand and supply of short-term funds. Actually, this presupposes the existence of domestic as well as foreign trade. Next is wholesale market. When you talk about money market is not a retail market, it's a wholesale market where a very large amount of short-term funds and financial assets are traded. 11th is flexibility. So when we talk about flexibility, here we talk about the regulatory framework. Actually, money market's regulatory framework is very flexible, and that induces or endeavor introducing new instruments. Last, we have presence of a central bank. Though commercial banks play a very dominant role, we have a central bank too. Actually, they have cash reserves, and during difficulties, what they do, they discount our financial assets, that is eligible financial assets. And also, though it's a organized, it's a market, what happens, central bank, they observe the cash excess cash during off seasons, and when there is need, when the business is very busy, they provide additional liquidity. So these are the characteristics of money market.
Now we are going to learn the difference between money market and capital market based on the features. First, duration of funds. When we talk about the duration of funds, short-term funds not exceeding 1 year gets involved in money market, and when we talk about capital market, there we have the long-term funds that is exceeding period of 1 year. Second, it is supply of funds. So money market supplies funds for the working capital requirements of the business and short period requirements. When it is capital market supplies for fixed capital requirements and also for long-term requirements of the government. Third is what type of instruments are dealt. When it is money market, commercial bills, that is bills of exchange, treasury bill, commercial papers are dealt. When it is capital market, shares, debentures and government bonds are dealt. Next is money value. When you talk about money value, each single money market instrument is of large amount. Say for example, a treasury bill. If you take a treasury bill, it is of minimum for 1 lakh. When you talk about commercial paper, it is a minimum of 25 lakhs. When you talk about capital market, it is a very small amount. Say each share will cost rupees 10, or a debenture will have a value of rupees 100. Next is role of major institution. In money market, central bank and commercial banks play a dominant role. Whereas in capital markets, development banks and insurance companies plays a dominant role. Next is availability of instruments. So when we talk about availability of instruments, money market instruments generally do not have secondary market, but capital markets have instruments have secondary markets. Subdivision. No subdivision of money market exists, but capital market is divided into two: primary market and secondary market. Place of transaction. Place of transaction, there is no formal place for money market. It is done over the phone. And when we talk about capital market, we have stock exchanges. Participants. When we talk about the feature participants, here we do transactions without the help of brokers in money market. In capital market, authorized dealers, that is brokers, investors, merchant bankers, underwriters, and even commercial banks get involved. Next is number of instruments dealt. When we talk about number of instruments, when it is money market, we have different types of instruments like interbank call money, notice money, short-term deposits, treasury bills, commercial papers, etc. When we talk about the number of instruments dealt in the capital market, it is shares and debentures. Next is claims. In money market, we have financial claims, assets and securities. In capital market, we have bonds and shares. Risk. When you talk about risk, low credit and low market risk, high credit and high market risk. Liquidity. Money market instruments, financial instruments are highly liquid, but capital market, there is only low liquidity. Price discovery. It's an important thing to talk about. No price discovery mechanism exists in the money market, but price discovery mechanism exists in the market. Next is regulators. So money market is regulated by the central bank and capital market is regulated by SEBI. Underwriting. With underwriting in money market, it is not a primary function, but for capital market, underwriting is a primary function. Last feature is dominant institutions. Which are the dominant institutions found in money market and capital market? So commercial banks are the dominant institutions in money market, and non-banking financial companies and special financial institutions play a dominant role in capital market. So these are the differences which will help us to understand about money market and capital market in detail.
Here I like to conclude today's class. In this class we have learnt about the definition of money market and the characteristics of money market, and also we have seen the difference between money market and capital market. So in the next class we will learn about the instruments that are used in the money market. Thank you.